Hello and welcome. Today we are diving into BIM Execution Plan, or BEP for short, or BEP. Now, I know that might sound technical, but don't worry. By the end of this presentation, you'll have a clear understanding of what a BEP is, why it is important, and how it helps keep a project on track. Whether you are a seasoned pro or a new to BIM, this is all about making the planning process smoother, more efficient, and more collaborative. First things first, why do we even create a BIM execution plan? Well, think of it like a roadmap. Yes, you use a map to guide a long trip. The BEP guides us through the project from the early design phases all the way to completion. BIM isn't just about fancy 3D models, it's a strategy for improving the way projects are designed, built, and managed. The BEP is the central document that organizes this strategy. Without it, we'd be working in the dark, hoping that everyone on the team is on the same page. And in a project with so many moving parts, from architects to engineers to construction managers, you can imagine how quickly things could go off track. The BEP helps us avoid that by laying out a clear path for everyone to follow. Next, let's talk about project information. This part of the BEP might seem straightforward, but it's actually critical. Here is why. Imagine you are coming into a project 6 months in, or you are reviewing it years after it's completed. What is the first thing you need? Context, right? This section contains the key details, project numbers, location, and a brief description of what the project is all about. We also note any critical date, like when the design phase starts, when construction is scheduled to begin, and so on. Think of it as the project's quick reference guide. Now, onto the key project contacts. Every project has a team of experts, each playing an important role. But in large projects, with so many specialists involved, who does what can sometimes get a little unclear. That's where this section comes in. Here, we list the key personnel, the architects, engineers, project managers, and their roles and responsibilities. This helps ensure that everyone knows who to contact for a specific task or decisions. For example, if there is an issue with a structural model, you want to know exactly who to reach out to. It is all about clear communication, and the BEP keeps that streamlined. Alright, let's move on to something a little more exciting: project goals and BIM objectives. This is where we define why we are using BIM on this particular project. You see, BIM can be used for a lot of different things. Design coordination, design clashes, before they become on-site problems, or even helping with facility management after the building is done. In this section, the project team sets specific objectives for BIM. For instance, are we using BIM primarily for clash detection to avoid costly construction errors? Or is it more focused on energy modeling to optimize sustainability? By getting these goals down on paper, everyone knows what we are aiming for and can measure progress along the way. Another key piece of the puzzle is understanding organizational roles and staffing. BIM doesn't just happen, it requires coordination. So in this part of the BEP, we identify the people or organizations responsible for overseeing BIM activities. This is crucial because someone needs to take charge of developing the BIM plan and ensuring its follow through. Each stage of the project is especially important to know who is leading the effort in managing the models, handling information exchanges, and ensuring everyone is on track. Without a strong leadership here, things can quickly become disorganized. Let's talk about the BIM process design. This is where we really start to map out how BIM will be used. We do this through what we call process maps. Process maps are visual representations of the workflow, essentially a guide to how different tasks and processes interact. They show the big picture of how the team will collaborate, from initial design reviews to construction coordination and beyond. By having a clear illustration of the execution process, everyone can see where they fit into the larger plan. It is like giving everyone a playbook for how we'll work together. This brings us to BIM information exchanges. Now, BIM is all about collaboration, and that means sharing information, but not just any information, a specific model element with the right level of detail at the right time. This section outlines exactly what needs to be shared and when. For example, during the design phase, the architect might be expected to provide a model with basic geometry, while the structural engineer needs a more detailed model with material specifications later in the project. By defining these expectations up front, we can avoid confusion and ensure everyone gets the data they need. Let's take a moment to talk about the BIM and facility data requirements. The owner's requirements need to be crystal clear. After all, at the end of the day, the project is being built for them, and their expectation for how BIM is used and how that data is handed over must be documented. It could be as simple as providing a detailed model for future renovations, or as complex as ensuring the building's entire HVAC system can be managed through a digital twin. Whatever the owner's needs are, they should be clearly laid out here so that the team can deliver exactly what is required. Now, BIM is all about collaboration, but collaboration without a structure can lead to chaos. That's where collaboration procedures come into play. In this section, we outline how the team will work together electronically, how models will be shared, what the file structures look like, and who has permission to access or edit which files. We also define meeting schedules and typical agendas. Collaboration needs to be smooth, so this section ensures everyone knows the ground rules for working together effectively. Next up is model quality control procedures. Quality is key. No one wants to discover errors during construction. So this part of the BEP outlines how well monitor the models to ensure they meet the project's goals and standards. Are the models accurate? Are they following the agreed upon standards? These procedures are in place to catch any issues early and prevent problems later on. This section keeps everyone accountable and helps maintain a high level of accuracy throughout the project. BIM relies on technology, so we also need to talk about technology infrastructure needs. We need the right tool to get the job done, and that means having the necessary hardware, software, and network infrastructure in place. This section covers everything from which modeling software we are using to ensuring that the network can handle large BIM files. It is about making sure the tech won't hold us back and that everyone has what they need to contribute to the project. Speaking of structure, let's talk about the model structure itself. It is important that everyone follows the same standards for the things like file naming, coordinate system, and modeling guidelines. This keeps things organized and ensure consistency across the board. When multiple teams are working on different aspects of a project, having agreed upon a standard prevents confusion and ensures that all the pieces fit together smoothly. Now let's get to the deliverables, what the client expects to receive at the end of the project. This section clearly defines all the project deliverables, ensuring everyone knows what is required. Whether it is detailed models, schedules, or facility management data, the VP outlines these requirements, so there are no surprises when it is time to hand things over. Finally, we need to address the delivery strategy and contracts. Different project delivery methods like design build versus design bid build affect how BIM is implemented. This section ensures that the right approach is reflected in the contracts, aligning the legal language with the BIM strategy. Stay tuned for the next video where we are going to cover a step-by-step on how to write the BEP. See you there.